Welcome everybody to another episode of Mondays with Mundy, and that's me, Jim Mundy, the historian for the Union League Legacy Foundation. Welcome back. So, you've heard me mention over time that the League has a wonderful art collection, and we do, but mostly people think of paintings and not sculpture. But in reality, I think our sculpture collection is as good, if not better in some ways, than the art collection. So, today we're going to talk about this wonderful piece of sculpture off to my left, called America Mourning Her Fallen Brave by Union League member James Henry Haseltine. So Haseltine was born in Philadelphia in 1833 into a Quaker family in what is now the Spruce Hill neighborhood in West Philadelphia. He had two brothers who were also involved in the art world, William Stanley, who became a marine and landscape artist, and his brother Charles F. Haseltine, who owned the family art gallery at 1416, 1418 Chestnut Street, literally just on the other side of the wall here, basically. And it was considered the best gallery in Philadelphia, the only one, for instance, where Thomas Eakins ever sent his paintings and things like that. So this was a powerful artistic family here in Philadelphia. So Haseltine studied art at the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts under the tutelage of Joseph Alexis Bailey, who, though he never joined the Union League, was involved with the art collection at the League in the sense that in 1870, 71, and 73, he was on the art committee that held the first three art exhibits here in the building itself. And we have a piece of his own sculpture, literally right above my head anyway, on the second floor above us. It is a bronze equestrian of Ulysses S. Grant. So nice connections there. But let's get back to Haseltine. So Haseltine was studying at the Pennsylvania Academy in the mid-1850s, but in 1857, he made his own, shall we say, journey to Rome, because that was the center of the art world in the 19th century. And if you wanted to be a sculptor, what better place was there to be than Rome itself? And so Haseltine moved over in 1857, and he was there in 1861 when the Civil War broke out here in the United States. Haseltine came back to Philadelphia. He would join the 6th Pennsylvania Cavalry. He would join the Union League. So this is obviously in 1863. And he would spend 2 years fighting just wonderfully well for his country. Rose to the rank of major, actually. When the war was over, Haseltine returned to Rome to continue his studies. In the meantime, members of the Union League wanted to create some kind of a memorial or monument to what had just occurred over the previous 4 years. And so they commissioned this piece from Haseltine in Rome, America Mourning Her Fallen Brave. And I think the message here that the members in Haseltine are getting across is that in the Civil War, it's the entire country that suffers, not just one side or the other. Just take a look at her face. I mean, it is full of sadness and sorrow. And clutched to her breast is one of two sets of Victorian mourning wreaths, one for the North and one for the South. And I think, and again, the message there is, yes, we have all suffered, but yes, let's reconcile now that the war is over at the same time. And if you look closely at the sculpture, you'll see that there are patriotic symbols. So here, on her sandals alone, she has a shield that has 13 stars. And if you look at the hem of her drapery, you'll see three alternating symbols. One, we have an eagle for the Union, the United States. We have cross cannons for the Army, and a porpoise for the Navy. It's resplendent sculpture, if you see her. So this has to be one of the earliest monuments post-Civil War commissioned in the country itself. She was originally located here in this hallway in the Broad Street building, but on the opposite side. So I'm on the north side, she was on the south side, in the middle of the hallway where the painting Three Medals of Honor is currently located. In 1910, when the first of the two Trumbow editions opened at 15th Street, she was moved down there to the elevator lobby, but then in 2006, after a redecoration of the first floor in this building, she was moved back to her original home, if not exact location. So. All right, what else can I say about the Haseltines? Oh, by the way, Charles Haseltine, his two brothers we talked about, William Stanley, the marine and landscape artist, and then we talked about Charles, the gallery owner. Charles actually joined the League in 1866. So two of the three Haseltine brothers were members of the Union League. Now, in Italy, James would move his studio from Rome to Nice in France, just across the Italian-French border, and he stayed there for a number of years, but eventually returning to Rome, which is where he would die in 1907. And his brother William had also moved to Rome to study, because again, it was the center of the art world in the 19th century at that point, and he too was buried in Rome, both of them at the Protestant cemetery in Rome itself. So one thing, so how do we know exactly when this, who did it and how it was dated, where was it made, and things like that? Very simple, and watch this. This is kind of neat. So we simply take her and we turn her, because on the back, she is indeed signed and dated. J. Henry Haseltine, sculptor, Rome, 1867. So I find it's incredible that 1867 technology on this beautiful marble pedestal was such that we could take a marble sculpture that weighs well over a ton and turn her as easily as that. So hopefully, but when you come to the Lig, I encourage everybody to come and stop and just gaze at this wonderful piece of sculpture, but don't turn her, please. Okay. Now, opposite me, though, we have a painting. We actually have a portrait of James Henry Haseltine in his studio in Nice. It was done by a French artist named Emily Rouen, and in this painting, you can see what we call a portrait bust. That is, it's a sculpture, but it's a, portraits, but a sculpture of portrait is a portrait bust. All right. And this is Haseltine in the studio. You can see that wonderfully expressive mustache and goatee and that just incredible velour jacket with all the buttons on it and things like that. So this is dated 1868 in France by the French artist Emily Rouen, and I can't think of any other museum or art collection that is fortunate enough to have not only the outstanding and what is probably the best piece or best work by this sculpture, and then have the portrait opposite, where we can see the portrait bust and he himself and what he looked like. So we're very fortunate and very lucky to have all that. So next time you're in the Lig House, Broad Street hallway, first floor, make sure you stop by and take a look. You can't beat the combination. So thank you all for looking. I hope you take me up on that offer, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks when we will have our next episode of Mondays with Mundy. So in between, stay well, take care, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.